Is your house on fire, Claw?
No, Bethany, those are Christmas lights.
Don't throw me down, Claw.
I'll try not to, Aunt Bethany.
What is it?
It's time to go back.
Welcome.
Hey there, happy holidays, and welcome back to Generation S. It's a podcast about growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s. Let me put it to you this way. If you feel that this movie we are discussing today is the greatest Christmas movie of your childhood, well, this podcast might be just for you. I'm Dan Kemp, joined by card-carrying Generation S Hall of Famer, Lou Carnivale.
I didn't get the card yet. Is it in the mail?
It's in the mail. Yeah, totally in the mail.
Okay, great.
It's on its way with your Christmas present.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Well, Lou, happy holidays, man. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Doing well. We are in the holiday season. We are no snow in New York yet. Well, parts of New York. Not my part of New York. But, yeah, temperatures are dropping. I don't have all that ick in my throat like last time I was on the show and hacking up a lung when I had to mute my microphone, and I can actually complete a full sentence without, gasping for air. It's nice.
You know, it really wasn't that bad. I went back and listened to the episode. It's not terrible.
So that's because I kept muting my mic and coughing off camera. Trust me, it was not fun.
It's fair. Okay. Well, yeah, man. No, welcome back. So we're not officially in December yet, but basically, as far as society is concerned, anything after Thanksgiving before December 31st is Christmas. So we're in Christmas time, like it or not.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
Now it's Halloween and it's Christmas time already.
Well, I was going to ask you that too, because I feel like that's been a recent thing. Like for you, like when do you feel like it's appropriate to start getting into the holiday spirit as far as Christmas and that type of stuff?
I'm good with it after Thanksgiving. Like literally the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So like November 1st, you're not putting up a Christmas tree or anything like that?
No. The only time my dad would do it when I was a kid, if he got a really nice, unseasonably warm day in November, he's like, I'm going outside, I'm doing this. But there were rules. So if you put up the lights, he would test them.
Okay.
But he wouldn't light them at night until after Thanksgiving. So they may have been up if you were coming over for Thanksgiving, but they weren't lit.
Okay.
He had the blow molds, which everybody loves now. I could do a show on blow molds. They're super expensive now, but when we had them as a kid, you'd want to put the stakes in the ground before the ground would freeze up here in the north.
Yep.
So he would do that. He would put the stakes in the ground, put the blow mold over it. Okay, it fits. He would hook it up. Then he would unplug it, take the blow mold off, and put it back in the garage.
Okay.
Because he didn't want to decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then once Thanksgiving happened, the next nice day, or it could be literally the next day, he would go out and he would, okay, lights are on, blow molds are out, and off we go. I did that. I put my stuff up because it was like 45 degrees here in New York.
Yeah. On
Black Friday. I'm like, nope, doing it today. I'm not going outside when it's 25 degrees.
Yeah, we started decorating on Black Friday. We were off, and so, but it was cold out, honestly. Yeah, it's been pretty chilly here and cooling down pretty consistently, which I guess I like because it does get me in the spirit of things because, with cold weather. But, we finished everything up by Sunday evening. We started with the outside, and then we worked our way inside with the tree and everything like that. Now, do you do a fake tree or you do a real tree?
Fake tree.
Have you always done a fake tree, even like as a kid? Did you ever?
No, when I was a kid, my dad wanted a real tree, and he was paying for it, and okay. So now it's just it's a bit too much. It's a lot of sap.
Yep, a lot of sap. Really full.
A lot of sap. So we have the fake tree pre-lit because I'm lazy now and I work full-time job and card-carrying Hall of Fame member of Generation S. So I got things I got to take care of.
That's right.
So we get a real wreath. We go to our local church. It's good to make a donation. And we get the real wreath.
Okay.
So that's my middle ground.
I got you. That's fair. That's you know what? That's more than I do, and I'm sure my wife would at least. My wife wants a real tree. Like Beth, wants a real tree, which is funny because she's totally allergic to them and can't touch them. Otherwise, she breaks out in hives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say I went to go look, honey, and they're all sold out. There was only Charlie Brown trees left.
Well, we have a lot of Christmas tree farms by us, where you can go and actually saw the tree, and so that I can't use that excuse. That's
So there's your segue into the very first scene of this movie.
Yes. Well, listen, before we do that, let's talk about, again, if you didn't see the title of the episode, guys, we are talking all about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I think you've said this before, Lou, but just for our listeners' benefit, is this your favorite Christmas movie of all time?
Oh my God, yes. It's my number one Christmas movie and my number 2 movie of all time.
Just number 2 movie in general of all time.
In general of all time.
Really? Okay. So
I'm stuck on a desert island. I can bring 5 movies. Number 1 is Ghostbusters. Number 2 is National Lampoon's Christmas.
Nice. Okay.
Even though I'm stuck in Bermuda or something like that, it's like 90 degrees.
Well, then that'll cool you down. You see the cold weather. Although it's funny because I the snow in this movie is so bad looking. Like it just looks so fake.
Oh yeah, it looks like asbestos.
I feel like, yes, it does. I feel like there's some scenes that they actually do in winter, like when they're sledding, and we'll get to all that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some scenes where it's genuinely winter, but a lot of it you can tell soundstage, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Still a great movie. What are your memories of this? So, like, when did you first see this movie? Was it on like for me? I saw it on TV. Like, I never saw it in theaters or anything like that.
It came out in '89, so
yeah, so I mean,
we
I
were
was
kids.
We
weren't going to go see it.
Yeah. Although, funnily enough, it was the first PG-13 National Lampoon's movie, I believe. So
No, the first one had to be because you saw boobs in it.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. This was the first one that was PG-13 and not rated R.
Really? The first one was was rated R?
The first one was R, and then the second one, I believe, was R as well.
Really?
Yeah, the original Vacation and European Vacation, I think, are both rated R.
Really?
And then this one was more family-friendly, I guess.
Yeah, they only teased the boobs.
That's right.
So my confession is I didn't see this movie all the way through till like 5 years ago. I saw bits and pieces growing up, but my wife, wanted me to watch it, and I watched it, and I go, well, this is very relatable, as I think most adults can.
Yeah.
Okay. It's relatable, all right, but it's it's definitely up there. So probably 5 years ago is when I watched it for the first time all the way through.
And it's funny you say that too, because my memories of it as a kid were if it was on TV, I caught it and would watch it. Now, I would usually watch a good chunk of it at a time. It was usually like, the beginning that I would miss or, sometimes. So I probably had seen it like in bits and pieces. But yeah, through its entirety, probably not until I was well into my 20s at least. And now,
you can
honestly,
appreciate it more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, especially now that I've got kids and whatnot. But every year for our tradition is when we wrapping presents for family or whatever and the kids, we have this movie. That's one of the first movies we put on in the background when we're wrapping presents. So it's like, I haven't watched it yet this year. But my pilgrimage.
You don't know how many times I've watched it. I've watched it four times, I think.
Are you serious?
Including last night.
Oh my gosh.
I am serious, Clark.
You serious, Clark? Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. So this is, I didn't realize, again, I love this because I learned so much about you. Like, just even though we've been best friends for like over 15 years, I'm still learning so much about you. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, let's, because I love this movie. You love this movie. When I messaged you like, hey, you want to just do an episode on the movie? You're like, oh my God, yes.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I feel like I'm hoping there's a lot of people listening to this that agree that this is one of the best Christmas movies of all time, because it's so relatable, where you want to have your family over and then you realize very quickly after having your family over that this was a huge mistake, but you don't want to admit it because you're too proud to admit it. You just want to, at that point, you're like, let's just get through this. And yeah, I'm
also laughing because we're recording this the week after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And I just had my first holiday in my new house, and it was Thanksgiving with family. Lots of family.
That's right. And
we actually put this on in between the football games.
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect.
So, yeah, when the first game ended, and between the first and second, put on National Lampoon's Christmas.
There it is. Hopefully
that's as Christmassy as I'll get on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But everybody loved it.
Yeah. Well, of course.
And we all could make, and the whole family can make fun of each other when, there's certain things on.
Well, I think the movie starts, if I'm not mistaken, like just after Thanksgiving, because you got the calendar that would show up in between scenes to show what day it was. So I'm pretty sure it was like at the most like early December that the movie starts.
Yeah.
So let's just jump into it, man. Let's kind of go through some of these segments of the, not the segment, like the walk through the movie in the different scenes or whatever. So the movie starts off, first off, it starts off with a very hilarious animated opening, with Santa Claus showing up at the Griswold house and basically just almost like Home Alone, right? Where like he keeps like falling, not traps, but like he's clumsy, he's falling into stuff, and which is what's ironic is that normally it's the Griswolds that have the bad luck. In this case, it's Santa. The Griswolds did nothing wrong. They're just, Santa has visited their house and shit's hitting the fan. And so he's got to get out of there. So you got that cool animated, which it's weird because none of the other Lampoon movies have an animated opening. It's usually like a photo slideshow or whatever. And this one is like legit, like it's an animated short essentially, which, I always thought was fantastic. You transition that though into a scene where the Griswolds are on a road trip to go pick up, acquire, whatever the word is, the Griswold family Christmas tree. So they're on that quest to find the tree. Now, this is, let's see if we can parallel some of this. So again, we talked about how your dad had the real tree growing up. Was it a situation where he went to a lot and just picked one, or did he go and cut one down like the Griswolds are trying to do?
No, there was no place to go cut down Christmas trees legally on Long Island. So you just
that's fair.
You went to the church and you saw their price and you go, I'm pretty sure the gas station around the corner has trees for like half the price.
Yeah.
So
okay,
you'd go to like one or two places, but no, we didn't. We would just pick it. The guy would throw it through the little thingamajig that would wrap it up automatically. Throw it on the roof. You tie it up for you. You give him a tip, and you're on your way.
Gotcha. Okay. So the Griswolds, it doesn't even look like they're driving to like I had mentioned we have like tree farms here where the trees are growing out of the ground. You can cut them. This is like they just
driving to the middle of nowhere.
Some random place in the woods to find the Griswold family Christmas tree because Clark has it in his head that like he's got this perfect ideal Christmas scenario and it's going to start with this tree, right? So they're walking through the woods. Audrey is freezing her ass off. She's and they're cold. And they finally find the tree, and it's huge, right? It's a massive tree. It's big, and everything's great. So we're like, okay, it's big, but it's what he wants. Let's do it. And then all of a sudden, Rusty's like, "Well, Dad, did you bring the saw? Where's the saw?" And of course, nope. Clark's like, "No." So this part I never understood, but you have to suspend disbelief because they get the tree, they pull the tree out of the ground. Like, how are they doing that?
Maybe I'm going to assume they tied something around the tree and it fell, and then Clark just turned into like the Grinch in a good way, and he just lifted it up and threw it on top of his car, and they magically went off.
The strength of 10 Grinches.
Happiest car. Yeah, 10 Griswolds.
The strength of 10 Griswolds. I like that. There you go. Yeah, well, because like it's got the roots on it, right? Like it's not like he like snapped it in half. Like it's got the roots and it's got the clumps of dirt. So I'm like, man, what would he have done? But anyway, hilarious because I can
also go through this with items or ornaments I have of the movie. So we're starting off with the Griswold tree on the car.
Yeah.
Got that. I have that as a Christmas ornament.
That's amazing. I love it. So they're driving home with this giant tree on top of their car. They get home, right, with this tree. And, so that's, we kind of transition to their house where they're starting to decorate for Christmas. And that includes, Clark, because the tree is huge. It's not going to fit in their house. I love the quote before this when Rusty was like, that wouldn't fit on our front lawn. And he's like, it's not going on our lawn, Russ. It's going in our living room, which is
Well, that's another thing we should do. We should point out, like, there are so many good quotes in this.
Oh yeah, well,
but one is coming up. One is coming up.
Yes, I think I know which one you're going to say, but let's see if we get to it organically here. So, as Clark is cutting up the trees, trying to kind of pare it down to be able to fit in the house, we are introduced to his neighbors, Todd and Margot, and they are, for I guess the best way to describe them when it comes to like 80s and 90s cultures, they're yuppies. Do you know that term?
There you go. I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say yuppies.
They're the yuppie couple. So basically, yuppies are what I think of as what's called a dink. Do you know what a dink is?
No, I don't know what a doink is.
A doink. Okay. So a dink, dink stands for double income, no kids. So it's couples that are both working but don't have kids, so they usually can buy pretty nice shit because they theoretically have more disposable income.
You sound angry about that, bro.
No, I don't. No, I'm not angry about that. Absolutely not. No, but I think that's kind of what a yuppie is. Maybe not. I mean, maybe yuppies can have kids. I have no idea. But that's what I think of as like these couples that have money but no kids, so they can buy really nice stuff. And they always had the slick back hair and the sweaters and the turtlenecks. And anyway, so they're out there, and it's very clear that Clark does not get along with these neighbors, or vice versa. And so they basically, I think Todd says, "Where are you going to put that tree, Clark?"
We're going to put a tree that big.
We're going to put a tree that big. And so Clark, of course, says,
bend over and I'll show you.
And then
there it is. That's the first good one.
Well, and then there's a follow-up quote that I think is even better, where Todd goes, "You got a lot of nerve, pal." And he goes, "I wasn't talking to you."
Yeah.
He's talking to his
I
wife.
have that as an ornament, too. Clark with the chainsaw.
Oh, with the chainsaw and the hockey mask
on. And when you hit it, he goes, bend over and I'll show you.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Okay, so we're just...
Yeah, it's great.
I did not know you had these ornaments. I need you to send me pictures. That sounds amazing.
Okay.
All right. So we go from that into, again, we get the tree in the house. We're ready to unveil it to the family. So he's basically, up until this point, the branches have all been tied down, right? And so he goes in there. He cuts the string off the tree to say, okay, this is the Griswold family Christmas tree. And the thing is huge, and it spreads out all over the living room. It breaks the windows. I think birds fly out of it. It's a mess. It's huge, and they're like, "Dad, it's too big." And he's like, "It's not big, Russ. It's full." And then there's that quote that you said before, really full. He's in there, and he's basically, because the tree engulfs Clark, right? It covers.
Goes through the window.
It goes through the window. Yeah, breaks the window, and he's like, "It's really full. A lot of sap." Really full.
A lot of sap.
A lot of sap. And then it's funny. I don't know why I ever got the joke until much later, but where Clark is laying in bed with Ellen, and they're just talking about, the family's coming, and she's super stressed, and he's like, "Honey, this is what I want. I want a family Christmas." And as they're doing this, like, his fingers are sticking to the paper, and he's reading a book or whatever.
Yeah.
And it starts sticking to the lamp.
It sticks to her hair and stuff.
Sticks to her hair. And I never knew why. I just thought it was a weird thing that was happening. It was because of the sap. He was super sticky from all the sap. I didn't...
I ruined a jacket because there was so much sap on one of the trees I got when I was a kid.
Really?
It was like a gray jacket, so the sap dripped onto the jacket, so it was like dark spots. Like, oh, there goes that jacket,
and it won't come out. Yeah.
Sap.
It's like grease, almost like pizza grease.
Yeah. So that jacket just became like if I was doing things around the house with my dad jacket.
Nice. There you go.
Again, core memory. Like, why do I remember that?
Yeah,
because there was a lot of sap.
A lot of sap. All right, so at this point, we are then introduced to the extended family. I guess both sets of parents come over at the same time. And, so they show up and they come in and they do the usual, grandparents kiss the kids thing. And, just the chaos that happens when you have family all show up at once, right? And so you're introduced to both Clark's parents and to Ellen's parents. And they're very different, right? Clark's parents are very kind of weird but down to earth and just kind of odd. And then you've got Ellen's parents that are kind of those like rich hoity-toity, judgmental whatevers. Could you relate to either of those parents, or like as far as the parents wise, like who do you gravitate more toward?
What do you mean in terms of like how do I see my own family?
Well, I guess more so if you had to pick either of those sets of parents as your in-laws, whose would you prefer?
That's a loaded question, man. I'm gonna have family listening to this. I gotta no. I'm not answering that one.
No, I'm not saying you'd have to replace.
Because this is the episode. This is the episode I'm gonna send to everybody in my family to listen to. I ain't answering none of that stuff.
All right, fair
I
enough.
want to get Christmas gifts this year.
Fair enough. Oh man. All right. So the family.
I think it is funny because we're in our mid-30s.
Yes.
That. The parents, when they come in, is this mole? Is this changing? Well, Mom, if you change color, you keep touching, it's going to change colors. I have hemorrhoids. Took a pint of fluid out of my pack. It's like,
this is stuff. Yeah, it's too real.
This is life now. This is our age bracket now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too real, man.
I find that funny.
Absolutely. So, all right, they show up, and then at this point, Clark has been, through most of this, been trying to put up Christmas lights, and he's trying to like light up this house. And so I forget how many bulbs. Do you remember how many bulbs? I'm sure you do because
I don't, but I remember he takes out the bulbs, and they're like. Usually when you take out your lights and they're in a ball, it's like a size of like a baseball or a softball. He pulls out a knot the size of a beach ball. Gotta check every light, Russ, and he just gives it to Russ.
Here, Russ, why don't you untangle this one? Yeah, because let me tell you what, there's nothing more annoying, than untangling Christmas lights. It sucks. It is the worst. It is the
Now,
worst.
did your dad decorate outside? Because my dad did, and guess what job I got?
Oh, you got the untangling
Detangle the lights.
Yeah,
Yes, and test them too. Go inside, test them, make sure they light, and find the one that doesn't light, and put like tape on it so he could try to find the replacement bulb and redo it.
So I'm trying to remember. We decorated the inside of the house every year. That was like a no-brainer. We would put lights outside, but I don't think it was every year. And quite frankly, I think we might have been one of those houses that left them up like way too long, like maybe even year-round sometimes. Yeah, I know. Well, we didn't live in like a subdivision, so it's not like we're going to get fined by the HOA or anything like that. But, you know, I think we were that. I do remember like our Christmas tree, because we had a fake tree. We would store it in our garage, we had a detached garage, so you could walk out there, and we just keep it in one of the side closet, like storage rooms out in the garage.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was all out there. But anyway, so you know, back to Clark. Clark's putting up all these lights. He's trying to get it to work. They're not coming on, and then all of a sudden, you know, they come on. But then so what happened was they just, one of the things wasn't plugged in or whatever. Like he didn't.
May I jump back for another famous quote?
Of course.
So when he's putting up the lights and things are going haywire, he pulls the gutter, and the piece of ice goes shooting into the neighbor's house.
Oh my God! Yes.
Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know, Marco.
See, there you go.
Do you have those sweaters? They have those sweaters now, you know, like a couple sweaters.
I don't. I do not. I don't think I have anything related to that scene.
Okay.
Like that. Well, you know, I don't have any ornaments or things like that. But yeah, the reason it's not lighting is he has, man, if you know anything about just common sense electricity, he has like the big industrial extension cords outside, and that's what he's trying to light with.
Yep.
It's not lighting because he has all these like rinky-dink dollar store, like extra outlet.
Yes, like the little add-on
things
ones
plugged in, and there's like 10 of them. It's like, oh my God. Like anybody that has half a brain, but I know that's the joke of it, but like that's the one part of the movie I actually like cringe at. It's like, oh my God, because there's people that probably do that.
Yes.
And it's such a hazard, but that's the reason why he didn't plug it in right. His wife flips it on. Margot and the neighbor, they fall down and stuff like that because of the lights. But here's the thing. So I have a theory. So there's going to be a few of these in this, like a what if. So if you remember, the neighbors, he wants to get a glass of wine and kiss every inch of her body, and she goes, after you shower.
That's right.
Because they shower first and then do hanky-panky, that's why they're upstairs and they get blinded.
That's right.
This is a what if for my friend that I watched it with this weekend. He goes, you know, I wonder if she didn't say after you shower and they went and did hanky-panky, they would have been in the shower when the lights got turned on and everything would have been fine.
I mean,
think about that next time you watch the movie.
See? Yeah, it's all
She
Margot's
says
fault.
after you shower, but no, don't. Go do it now.
Just get it done.
He's going to light the lights and you'll be in the shower when he lights the lights.
Just in general.
I watched it too much. I watched the movie way too much.
Listen, that's fine. It's, you know, it's because these are valid questions. I want our listeners to be thinking about this. This is absolutely very important.
I can point out some errors in the filming as we go on too.
Let's get through the movie first, and we'll go back and look at some errors. So anyway,
yes.
Clark gets the lights on. A lot of chaos there, and you know, long story short, like you know. The lights are on. He brings everyone out to see. Well, first off, before then, he tries to turn them on, and before they come on, the whole family's sitting. And this is awkward, right? Where they're waiting for him. He's like, "All right, I got all these lights. Let's see it all." And they're all sitting out there cold. He turns them on. They don't work, and it's just super embarrassing because who hasn't been there, right? Where you're so excited to show something and it's not working, or like even the simplest thing, like I'm showing a YouTube video to my wife because I think it's hilarious and it's not loading, and we're just sitting there waiting for it to load. You know what I mean? That's
beautiful. Clark.
Exactly. It's a real beauty, Clark. So anyway, lights, they finally come on. Everyone sees him. It's amazing. And this is when we are introduced to, in my opinion, my favorite character, I should say, from the entire film. Cousin Eddie and his wife and their kids and their dog. So Cousin Eddie, if you recall, was a character from the previous National Lampoon original Vacation movie, which you've seen as well, right?
I did, but I saw this first.
Same here.
So
yep. So
I went backwards.
Yes. So Cousin Eddie, he is Ellen's cousin, and so they show up in an RV and it's an
RV.
It's an RV, Clark. And, of course, Clark hates Eddie, hates him because of his previous interactions, both in the movie and just in general, just never has anything nice to say about him. Anyway, they show up, and they're like, yep, we're gonna, we thought we might stay too, but, we don't want to impose. And he said, no, family, of course. Well, he doesn't say it, but I think his father-in-law, Ellen's dad, says, no, there's plenty of room here. Yeah.
Yes.
And so they all, they're showing up there, and yeah, I mean, at that point, we then kind of transition into the house where there's, I don't know, I guess it's a Christmas party. It's again, just family kind of, the family is now here for the next, week or whatever it is until Christmas at this point.
Well, that's the thing. Eddie says, that there's an RV, have a Christmas on over of that.
Of course.
And they're drinking out of the moose mugs.
Yep.
I have a moose mug, too.
Do you? I just saw on sale they had. I didn't buy it. I should have bought it for you. It's the Marty Moose Punch Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's I've seen that around this time of the year. It's a little expensive.
Yes, well, it was like
Marty
50. I think
Moose
I saw
Bowl.
like $50. But yeah.
Oh, that's actually not that bad.
It could have been plastic.
I do have the moose cup, and there's a quote. Again, I'm not going to go over every quote, but when he goes, "Can I get you anything? Refill your eggnog and drive you to the middle of nowhere and leave you for dead?" He says, "Don't you go liking that RV too much. We're taking it back with us when we leave here next month." And that's when Clark starts choking
on his eggnog.
Because Eddie and the kids and Snot are going to be there for a month.
Snot's the Rottweiler. Yep. He's got, what was it? He said it was a gland issue? No, what does he say it is?
Gland issue, and it's the biggest set you've ever seen on a dog, and it's very subtle. They cut to the wife. It's Ellen, right? That's the wife's name? Clark's wife?
Clark's wife is Ellen, yeah.
Ellen. They cut to Ellen, and she's actually she smiles, but then if you look really close, she tilts her head to kind of look.
Checking out the set on Snot's.
Yeah, Snot's set.
What's the other one I use? I always you got a little Mississippi Leghound in him.
Yeah. Best to let him just ride it out.
Just let him finish, Yeah. God. Oh, man. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, so Eddie's there. Clark's now, not that he was super happy before with the two sets of parents, but at least those are ones he wanted to be there. Eddie shows up uninvited. Now Clark's going to be a little more on edge for the rest of the film, partially in part due to Eddie. Now, and another issue here is this is a perfect transition into, this is the first time we see Clark working at a job, right? In the previous movies, he's always on vacation, right? But here he's working still because his Christmas vacation hasn't started yet technically. So he's working at this the food additives food company, whatever it is, and he's starting to get stressed because he's supposed to be getting this big Christmas bonus, which he is using to put in a swimming pool for his family, and he has not gotten his bonus yet, and nobody else has either. And they're all wondering, oh, what's going on here? I guess it's coming soon. It's probably just in the mail still, whatever. But this is where you first, this is a big kind of subplot that plays out a little later in the movie of Clark doesn't have his bonus yet, right? But he's putting in a swimming pool. That's his big thing. Now, I had a pool growing up. My parents put in a pool. I can tell you with pretty significant confidence that one bonus check would not cover the cost of a swimming pool.
Yeah, to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to do here because I know how much our pool costs, and I guarantee.
Or maybe it was just the down payment he put down.
I don't know, because there's a scene later in the movie where he says, if there's enough left over after the pool, I'm going to fly y'all down here to celebrate.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Did you know who the boss, do you know who he is?
I do know who the boss. It's Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray.
It is.
Did you know that he's also in the first National Lampoon's Vacation?
I've only seen it once.
So he's the guy that runs the campsite?
Yes, he is. You're right.
Yep. Brian, he's also
Kiss my ass. Yeah. Kiss your ass. Kiss his ass.
Happy Hanukkah.
Kiss my ass. There you go.
Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so we see Clark at work there. We then move on to a little family outing. They go sledding, and Clark is very excited. He's brought this food additive that makes his sled extra slick, extra slippery. And another one of my favorite quotes here, because Eddie comes along to sled, and he's like, Clark, I really shouldn't be going down any hills here. I got this, they replaced my my metal plate with government plastic, and so I don't know if I should be going down any hills too fast. He says, I forget how it comes up in the sentence, but my wife and I will say this anytime she would run the microwave, I'd piss my pants and forget who it was for 15 minutes.
And his hair, if this hair, my part just won't look
Yeah,
right. But
and
this
if
side,
so I
it'll be
should
fine.
Yeah, this side, can't feel it, but this other side, if I hit that, then yeah, my hair just won't look right. And so anyway, Clark ends up getting on the sled, which, by the way, let me ask you a sledding question, because we didn't do a Christmas episode together last year. It was me and Dan Vorbeck, so I never got to talk to you about this stuff. Did you go sledding as a kid?
I did, yes.
What did you use?
Even though Long Island doesn't have mountains or hills, I did have a hill.
Yeah.
A pretty big hill.
There's that one hill, right, that all the kids went to. So
yeah.
Did you use a saucer sled or a classic, like, legs out sled?
Classic, like plastic red sled.
Yeah. Same here. Did you have the rope in the front, like to pull up?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you guys build ramps?
Speaking of, we did not. We didn't do that.
Okay.
But interesting note, I do not have it yet, but this year's Hallmark in 2023, National Lampoon's Christmas ornament is Clark on the saucer.
Okay. Well, I think that's what you need to get now.
I think I do.
So anyway, Clark gets on this sled that's got this super slick food additive that makes it very slippery and very fast. He goes, later, dudes. He throws himself down the hill and boom, like takes off like it's Back to the Future. Off he goes. He's going through the woods. He just goes everywhere. And, he goes over the highway. Cars are crashing, classic kind of National Lampoon slapstick, humor. Do you remember where he ends up at the end when he finally finishes?
Walmart, which is not the last time we'll see Walmart.
That's right, because that's where they go. You're right. Later in just a few scenes.
Yeah.
And then of course the sled itself is just burned out on the bottom, big hole. So it worked. Whatever it's funny because he invented this food additive that does this. Like Clark's got to be a pretty smart guy, right? I mean, if he's creating, he's like
his boss mentions he wants to. His boss says to Clark, who also, by the way, he always calls him the wrong name, Griswold.
Yes.
Always calls him the wrong name, except for the very last time he talks to him in the movie.
Yes.
He actually says Clark. He says he wants to mention one of his products at a trade show. None of that, none of that insider jargon stuff, layman's terms.
Right.
So, yeah, he's doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy, but anyway. So, all right. So that's, I think that's what I love about this movie is that you can break it down into specific scenes, right? Like every single scene is memorable. You know what I mean? Like, and if you see a snippet of it, you know exactly where you're at in the movie. You know what's going on, and I think that's what makes it so great. Is that it's not like there's movies you watch that kind of bleed together, and like you don't really know what's going on or where you're at in the movie. This is not like these are very distinct set pieces and scenes because you go from the house to his office to sledding back to the house, and so
to Walmart.
Well, that's what happens next. Is So we're basically Clark goes out with Eddie to do some last minute Christmas shopping. Turns out that Eddie and his wife, whose name escapes. Do you remember Eddie's wife's name?
Carolyn, maybe?
Karen.
Something with a K.
I think it's something with a K. There it is. Anyway, long story short, they don't have any money because Eddie hasn't been working for like 20 years. And
he's been holding out for a management position. Oh, but wait, you got to mention the awesome NHL jersey that you got me.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because that happens.
The shitter's full.
We totally didn't even mention the attic scene.
That to me is actually the most boring part of the movie.
The attic scene where he's sitting up there and he's like watching home movies.
That's the one part I could skip of the movie.
Really? I like it because I see when he's crashing through the floor with his feet and stuff like that. And
that's fine. When he actually puts on the movie, though, that's what I can skip.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like hokey. I don't know. Like that's actually one of the parts I could relate to because as a kid, or like if I'm cleaning out a room of the house, like I will literally, if I find a photo album, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna look at the photo album. You know what I mean?
See, I can relate to it because now I have the pull down attic ladder.
Yes. Yep.
And every time I just grab that string, I'm like, it's going to happen eventually, man. It's going to happen.
Someone's going to be up there and just falls down.
No, I just think the ladder's going to fall and just hit me in the head.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when he first pulls it down. If I got somebody sitting watching home movies in my attic, I got a bigger problem.
That's a bigger... So, or when he's going in and he's hiding the presents from his wife, right? Because up in the attic, right? That's why he goes up there is to put the presents. And then he finds like old presents like from Mother's Day and stuff like that for his wife covered in dust. Yeah. Like, oh, I forgot about this. So anyway, super relatable. And then, of course, he locks himself up there and the whole family leaves to go out shopping or whatever.
Because he's got to take his back pills, the grandfather.
Yeah. And again, and again,
things we can relate to now.
That's right. But that scene happened way before the lights in Eddie. Yeah. So totally forgot. It's another crucial key scene. Anyway, we skip back ahead. We are now shopping, doing some last minute shopping. And Clark's like, well, Eddie, listen, I want to do something for your kids. I want your kids to have a good Christmas. Is there anything that they want for Christmas? And he's like, no, Clark, it's okay. Whatever. He's like, well, Eddie, if you don't tell me, I'm just gonna go guess and whatever. He goes, all right, well, here's the young boys list. Here's her list, and it's like this huge list of stuff or whatever. And while they're walking around the store, Eddie's just grabbing like a shit ton of dog food for his dog, like a bag of like everything.
Did you ever notice? So Eddie grabs one thing of dog food, and then right before he grabs like the big scoop of like 3 things, Clark takes like a thing of light bulbs, and he puts them down, and then Eddie takes a big thing of dog food and smashes them. You can actually hear them crack.
No, I did not notice that.
Yeah. Next time you watch it, I noticed that last year. And I'm like, why? It sounded like something cracked. And I rewound it. I'm like, because you look at Eddie grabbing the dog food.
Yeah.
But right before he grabs the dog food, Clark goes to his left and grabs a little like 2-pack of light bulbs, puts them on top of the dog food. And then like a second later, Eddie takes the big 3-pack and just boom. And you can hear it crack.
Okay, I'm gonna pay attention for that. That's hilarious. Oh my god, That's so good. Such a good scene.
And this is another great quote. Right here.
All right, which one? What do you got?
Clark, if it's not too much, I want you to get something for yourself. Something real nice.
Yeah. This is a nice surprise. What a surprise! Yes.
And when he grabs them, you can hear these cracking Clark's back too.
Yeah, that I heard. Yeah, I have noticed that before. So, oh god, that's hilarious. Okay, so they go last minute shopping. There's a scene around this time, I think it was right before this, where Clark is daydreaming. Actually, this is one of my favorite scenes as a kid because Clark is daydreaming.
Oh well, yeah, he's got the girl.
Oh, yeah. The girl that we totally neglected to mention from the beginning of the film where he's shopping
I didn't want to know how deep you wanted to go into this. Can't see the lines. Russ?
I forgot the scene where because that's a quote I'll use too. It's like, oh, it's a bit nipply out there. I'll still use that quote.
What about when he goes, "'Tis a season to be merry"?
Well, that's my name. No shit. Oh my god, that's what
I'm saying. This and the original Ghostbusters are the if we think about it, my 2 favorite movies are the 2 holidays kind of Thanksgiving sandwiched in. Still real good Thanksgiving movies, in my opinion.
Oh, but Ghostbusters,
they're both holiday movies.
Yeah,
it is a Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even have to watch them.
No,
I could literally put them on and just do things around the house and just listen to them.
And and you're experiencing the movie like you've got it memorized.
Yeah, and I can do that with like old episodes of The Simpsons. Also, I could just listen to the Golden Age.
Yeah,
that's a segue for another episode. If you like The Simpsons, check out our podcast on The Simpsons Golden Years and Treehouse of Horror. So anyway, those are things I just don't even need to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I can just listen. I can legitimately drive in the car and listen to it like it's an audiobook.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that scene. I don't know why. Because I have my notes here of like, all right, this is kind of generally where we're going with this film. I forgot about the store scene where
I didn't want to go too deep into everything, but yeah. Well, 'tis the season to be merry.
That's my name.
Oh shit! So she's the girl that's.
She's the girl that he's because he does this in all of his movies. He fantasizes about a chick that he sees early in the movie, which Clark's kind of a sleazeball if you think about it, right? I mean, he's never.
Come on, every guy does it.
Know.
No, he goes swimming though. He goes swimming with the girl. That's different.
In the original movie, I think he crossed the line. In this one, he doesn't really cross the line. Yeah. He meets her one time. Anyway, so he's fantasizing about this pool that he's going to be putting in with his bonus that he hasn't gotten yet.
And Eddie with his shirt tucked into his Speedo
with his boxer shorts underneath.
Yes.
I love it. And then his
suntan lotion on his nose.
And he's wearing the flippers and he jumps off the diving board.
Yes.
And then Clark's like, what the fuck are you doing in my fantasy? Get out of here, Eddie. And then all of a sudden you see this, we know her name is Mary. We see Mary show up in the red bathing suit. And it's a very reminiscent, there's another 80s movie. I think it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I can't remember, but it's basically ripping off that scene where she jumps in and then she comes out of the pool and she's taking off her bathing suit, and Clark's like getting all like, whoa! And all of a sudden, Eddie's daughter shows up and ruins that whole scene. Ruby Sue.
Whose eyes are no longer crossed because she got hit by. She falls in a well, eyes goes crossed.
Gets hit
by a mule. They go straight. I don't know. And Rocky's got a lip fungus they haven't quite identified yet.
Oh my god, I love it.
I have no notes, by the way. He snorted.
I did.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's
He
such a good
snorted.
movie.
I have no notes. I just know this because I watched this stupid movie that many freaking times.
Oh, it's the best. Oh, I love this so much.
It is.
This is when because we've done episodes in the past where one of us is maybe not as invested in it just from their previous experience as the other person, and so it's pretty cut and dry. But the fact that we both know this movie, and I think you do know it better than me, but still love this movie. So quotable. I know when you give me a quote, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what scene it is. Anyway, so we get to the scene where Mary Sue's talking about how I don't know if we're going to have any presents this year, Uncle Clark. And this is another one of my favorite quotes too. And I have used a variation of this quote since I saw this movie the first time. Where they're like, "Well, how's your brother feel about this?" He goes, "He's shitting bricks." And he goes, "You really shouldn't use that word. Sorry, shitting rocks."
I didn't remember that one.
Yeah, so I will totally use a variation of that, going.
I
out.
like when Clark goes, if you believe in, your mom and your dad, he hesitates about Eddie. There's another quote we forgot. I'm gonna jump back because I'm allowed to now.
Yes,
I got permission.
You do.
She when the daughter's talking to the mom and the grandparents are there.
Yep.
She's like, "Can they sleep and get hotels? I have to sleep with my brother." And she goes, "I had to sleep with your father. Stop being so dramatic." She's like, "Well, Mom, this is how it's supposed to be," or something to that effect. I was like, "What can I say? It's Christmas and we're all in misery."
That's right. And then she goes, "Ellen, are you
That's
smoking?"
the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah. It's Christmas and we're all in misery.
There it is. And then I love the scene after that too, where Rusty's sleeping. He's sharing a bed with his sister, and he's slapping her and stuff because he's sleeping. And then you cut to the grandparents, and the grandfather's just laying there looking at his son or Rusty's poster on the ceiling of that chick in the bathing suit or whatever.
And what about behind him is the poster of two turtles doing it?
Yes. I love it.
Turtle style.
There it is, man. All right, so we cut back to this. Then we go to the Walmart scene where we're like, I want to do something nice for your family. Now we're getting pretty near the end of the film at this point. We then cut to some of my favorite parts of the entire film, which is Christmas Eve dinner.
Oh, this is it. This is the best part of the movie.
This is the climax. Yeah. So we've all, and so it's I take it as a kid. So Cousin Eddie, I think, is my favorite character from this film overall. However, as a kid, my favorite character was Aunt Bethany.
As an adult, Aunt Bethany is still great.
She's the best. So the first line, I think I'm going to use that line to start this episode off, by the way, is your house on fire, Clark? No, Aunt Bethany, those are lights.
I like driving in cars.
Oh, that's so...
It's not every day somebody gets a new house. I didn't move into a new house. You shouldn't have done that. Did I break wind? No, did the room clear out? Presents.
It's rusty.
I like the thing that Uncle Lewis says.
Which one?
Ironically, it's Uncle Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, I got you the perfect thing to get you, Grizz. He goes, oh, Uncle Lewis, you didn't get me anything. Damn it, Bethany, he guessed.
He guessed it. So I think he's the voice. Did you ever see A Nightmare Before Christmas?
I did. I know he's back in his day. The actor that played Uncle Lewis was a legit actor.
Very famous. Well, he's a very famous character actor. Yeah. So but he was I think he's the doctor in Nightmare Before Christmas, the scientist. He's like,
okay.
Sally, is my soup ready yet? Because if you hear that voice and you can hear. Anyway, so he's hilarious. And then so is
the cat. What about the cat though in the freaking box?
Well, because she's giving the presents, and of course she doesn't have a lot of money, so she just finds stuff around her house. And they're like, what is that? He shakes it, and she packed her damn cat.
Yeah, it's leaking. What's that? It's lime.
It's lime. Oh, it must be one of her Jell-O molds. And then, of course, there's cat food in the Jell-O mold, which I think that's hilarious.
Now, is it cat food or is it cat crap?
No, I think it's crunchy, so it's either litter or cat. I interpreted it as cat kibbles.
I know people that think it's cat food.
Okay,
like the dry food.
Yeah.
And I have some people that think it's cat.
But cat shit wouldn't
crap.
be crunchy though. There's a clear.
Do you
crunch.
know that for a fact?
Yes, I have a cat, and her shit is never crunchy.
You know, because you chewed on it. I should make that into a short.
My dogs have.
I have a cat, and their shit isn't crunchy. All right,
Jesus.
I'm Googling quick.
You do that, and I'm gonna keep working.
Yeah,
through
you
here.
do. You keep doing what you do best, and host for a moment. I'll research to find out if Google the Google machine can tell me what is in the lime Jello mode.
Well, I do have a fun fact for you about Aunt Bethany that you may or may not have known. But do you know who Aunt Bethany did the voice of back when she was in her younger days?
Betty Boop.
She is Betty Boop. She even did like the on-screen. She was the on-screen live action Betty Boop. So I thought that was kind of fun. Anyway, so we are now at the point where, it's Christmas Eve dinner. We're having another kind of party get-together with the family. Aunt Edna's, or not, I keep calling her Aunt Edna. Aunt Edna was in the first movie. This is Aunt Bethany, different aunt. Okay, what do you got?
According to Google, what is the secret ingredient in Aunt Bethany's Jello mold? Cat food.
Cat food. See, I told you it's cat food. I knew it.
Dry cat food.
I told you.
Yep.
Dry cat food, which is what my cat eats. So that makes sense. All right. So we get to dinner. We are all sitting around the table for a dinner that the women have been slaving over all day. In fact, this turkey, if it tastes half as good as it looks, I think we're all in for a real treat here.
Sounds good. Save the neck for me, Clark.
Okay, Eddie. So anyway,
I use that line at Thanksgiving.
Oh man, I tell you what,
but I don't like the neck.
I've never had turkey neck before. I didn't know you could eat the neck.
Neither have I.
No, okay.
I think you could. Oh, I think that's kind of the thing you really don't. But it's Eddie.
Right. That's fair. Okay, so that makes sense. So anyway, we are at dinner, and Clark is about to cut into the turkey, and it just goes. And it's super dry and shriveled up. And to that, I mean, honestly, every turkey I've ever cut into since then, I'm like afraid that it's going to do that because of this movie. And he's like, and so she's like, I knew I left it in the oven. This is Eddie's wife. I knew I left it in the oven too long or whatever. He's like, nah, it's just a little dry. It's fine. And then they cut to them eating around the table, and everyone's trying to chew the turkey. It's all dry and crunchy, and you just, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then,
and as they're going around the table, if you look at each person, they're all doing something. Like one person's like gnawing on it.
Yeah.
One person's dipping water in it. One person's pulling hair out of it. Ellen has a little piece on her fork, and she tosses it behind her, like she misses her mouth, and then she acts like she ate it, going, yum.
Oh yeah, and
so
then
it's funny. You got to look at what everybody's doing to eat that turkey.
It's so good. And then you've got Eddie there who's taking something out of the bowl. He's taking a bite of it with a spoon. He's like, that's pretty good. Then he scoops more of it on it. It's like mashed potatoes or something. Yeah, no, he's super nasty. And then he's eating the lime Jello. He's like, that is good.
Yeah.
And then this is another quote that I use all the time, where
everybody uses. I think this is probably the quote.
Yeah.
I think the two most used quotes is "Save the neck for me" and what you're probably going to say.
See, and I would. There's another one there. I would say "shitter's full" is another one.
Yeah.
So
okay.
But anyway, so we're Clark is telling the kids like, guys, I heard that Santa is on his way here or something along those lines, and you just see Eddie go, "You serious, Clark?"
See, now I combine both of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Is when he goes, "Are you serious, Clark?" And I quote Egon, "I'm always serious."
Oh, there you go. That's a good combination there.
I tried to combine both.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so while this is all
nobody
happening,
gets it though. Nobody gets it.
I get it. It's okay. I blame myself. So do I. Okay. So while dinner is happening, by the way, I feel like we're totally all over the place, but if you've seen this movie and you're listening to this, you probably know what we're talking about. Anyway, so we during dinner, there's chaos happening in the other room, right? So you've got the dog eating. That's another part, right? Where the dog's eating something. He goes, he just carved off a bone. There he is. He got it. You got that, and then you got the cat who goes behind the tree.
Oh, this is my wife's favorite part right here with the
chewing through the cord, and you just see flames in the back. And so what was that?
Cat had 9 lives. I just used them all.
Just used them all.
Woo!
Yes. And so they're bringing out the chair because they ruined their recliner because the cat basically got blown up under the couch or the sofa or the lazy boy, and so he brings.
Do you know they make? I have a friend that has. They bought it off Etsy. It's literally a very thin piece of carpet. but it's a decoration.
Okay.
And it's the black cutout of the cat with fur around it and lights.
That's awesome.
They actually make the cutout and you put it like next to your couch.
Oh,
and it looks like
God.
a cat got blown up.
That is amazing. And so
I love that part.
I love it. They're like bringing out the chair, and Eddie says something along the lines like, "Are you going to do anything with this, Clark? I'd like to buy this off you, and I could fumigate it. It's a good item. I'd like to fumigate
How much did
it.
it set you back?
How much does it set you back, Clark? I'd like to take it off your hands, fumigate it."
And that's where they mentioned the sewer drain because Eddie was saying the shitter was full.
That's right. Yeah. So at this point, so like it's full of raw sewage from Eddie's trailer or RV, whatever. And so that's going to come into play here just at the end. And then also before then, the dog was drinking all the water out of the tree, and he's like, "Well, Eddie, you got to stop. You can't do that. It's going to dry out the tree." And so there's a scene when we come back in the house where Uncle Lewis is lighting up a cigar, and basically the tree is so dry because all the water's gone, the dog drank all the water, that the entire tree just goes up in flames. And then you see...
What's the matter with you?
You see Uncle Lewis on fire, and so Clark tackles him, of course. He's like, "My tree! What the hell did you do to my tree?" And so at this point, we're getting close to Clark's mental breakdown. We're not quite there yet. We're getting very close. And so, oh God, and we completely skipped another one of my favorite scenes. I when they're sitting at dinner and they're like, "Aunt Bethany, this is Aunt Bethany's like 80th Christmas or whatever.
Yes.
Would you please say grace?" And she's like, "What?
She died 30 years ago.
She passed away 30 years ago. The
blessing.
And so
I
they're
pledge
all like,
allegiance to the flag of the United. And Eddie stands up.
He stands up, he puts his hand in his chest, and then they all finish it at the end, I love it.
And that's when they carve the turkey and save the neck for me.
That's what it is. Yep. Oh my God.
Yeah. How do we forget that?
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Because there's so much in this. How do you explain this movie to somebody? Well, we can say that at the end. I'm sorry.
Yes. No, but there's so many. That's the thing is
Uncle Lewis just went on fire.
Yeah, there it is. So we're back to Uncle Lewis on fire. Yep. And then at that point, essentially is when the telegram guy shows up, I believe, right?
Yeah. And did you ever notice Clark rips open the door so hard that the door knocker.
Yeah. And he's a telegram guy. He's like, "I have this packet." Basically, it's an envelope from his company, and he's like, "It fell between the seats the other day. I'm sorry." And so he
Clark W. Griswold.
Can't
pronounce his name.
That's like a running gag.
Clark W.
Griswold. Yeah. So anyway, so Clark gets it. He's very excited. He's like, "This got to be my bonus, right?" And he's like, "Guys, I'm so sorry. I've been a little on edge. I've just been waiting for this bonus because, And then he's like, with this bonus check, I'm putting in a swimming pool." And of course, everyone's like, "Oh, this is so amazing." And he's like, and that's why I've been kind of stressed because, I put a huge down payment. And if I did this bonus, if I didn't get this, I wouldn't be able to cover it. And so, they're like,
and the wife looks like petrified.
Right.
That he said that.
And so then he opens the envelope up and they're looking, they're all gathered around, right? And the suspense is building and he's looking at his envelope and you just see his eyes widen. And Ellen's like, "What is it, honey? Is it smaller than he thought it would be? It's bigger, isn't it?" And he's like, "It's an annual subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club."
That's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year, Clark.
Clark, it's the gift that keeps giving all year round, or something like, yeah. So anyway, this is where Clark loses it, right? This is where he snaps. And he goes into classic Clark breakdown. And I'm not going to, I don't want to say the whole thing because I can't remember. Because at this point, he's like super miserable. And the family's like, "All right, well, then we're getting the F out of here. We're done. This Christmas is over. It's all ruined."
Oh, no. No, we're going to carry on and have the happiest holiday this side of the nut house or something to that effect. There's like a big monologue twice that he does.
Yep. Well, because it starts off with like, "I'll tell you, if anyone's looking for any last minute gifts from me, I want my boss, Ed, what's his face?
Frank Shirley.
I think. Want him in a bow here so that I can tell him what a no good, rotten, dickless, something piece of sack of monkey shit he is."
Hallelujah. Holy shit. Where's the Tylenol?
Where's the Tylenol? Yeah, that's another one that I quote. Yep.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and then his wife's like, "Clark, you're losing it." And he's like, "I'm fine. I'm totally fine."
So this is one part I'm going to say when you watch it.
Yeah.
Look at her hair. one part is kind of on her shoulders.
Okay.
And then they cut to Clark, and they come back, and it's all puffed out.
Oh.
Go back to Clark, and it's kind of straight again.
Continuity
Her
there.
hair changes in this scene.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, now I'm not going to be able to unsee that, so thank you.
Yes,
And
I can't unsee it.
And then Clark grabs the chainsaw, and he just starts sawing through everything. And there's a part early in the movie, I guess, where like the banister was like wobbly or whatever, so he like just cuts it off. It's like, I fixed it.
New post.
Yep, there it is. And so at this point, Eddie has left the house, and he goes and basically kidnaps Clark's boss to bring him home. And but while he's gone, the family's leaving, and Clark. This is actually a kind of sweet moment where.
Well, before this.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Is the squirrel.
We didn't even talk about the squirrel. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's making a squeaky sound.
Yeah. It's that squeaking sound. And so they look in the tree, and the squirrel jumps on Clark, and just slapstick running around the house.
Knocks it. But the thing is, it jumps out. He literally knocks over his mother.
Yes.
Twice.
Yes. And then I love it where like they're like trying to find. He's like, I'm gonna trap it. He's like, what are you gonna do, Clark? He's like, I'm gonna trap it and smack it with a hammer. They're like, oh, that's
My dad
terrible.
did that.
Yeah,
My dad did that when he was a kid. He had a mouse in the basement when he was a kid. And him and his dad just wrapped it up and
bopped it. See, so I guess that was normal.
Where's
Anyway.
Eddie? He easily eats these things. No, they're high in cholesterol. Thank you.
Yes, I guess Eddie hadn't left yet. Or no, did he leave then? Because he wasn't there for the squirrel.
He had left. But fun fact, folks, what they did at the end, if you have a squirrel or a raccoon or a chipmunk in your house, just open the front door. They don't want to be in your house.
They do not want to be in your house. Exactly right.
No, they will leave through the front door.
Yes.
Proven fact.
Okay.
So if you take anything out of this, just know, if that really does happen, just open the front door.
Yep.
Open the windows, open the front door, it will go out.
There it is. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So yeah, we're almost to the end of the film here. So like I said, Clark's having this breakdown. The family's leaving. Very sweet moment between him and his dad, where his dad was like, son, like this sucks. Like this is miserable. Why did you want to do this or whatever? And he's like, I just want to have a nice family Christmas. And he's like, listen, I'm proud of you, and this is your tradition, and it's fine. It's something long. It's very sweet.
This is a great quote as an adult.
Yeah.
This is now my favorite line. Dad, our holidays are always a mess. How did you get through it? I had help from Jack Daniels.
That's right. That's right.
And as an adult now, hell yeah.
Jack Daniels.
I need help from Jack Daniels to get through some holiday shit.
Absolutely. Oh my God. So Clark's kind of calmed down at this point. We're at a point where he's moved past his huge breakdown, right? And but Eddie is now coming back with his boss Frank Shirley in tow. He's been wrapped up in a bow, and basically Eddie's like, well, all right, I brought him, and so it's like this is obviously where it's the whole movie's not realistic, obviously, but the scene where like they like basically dress him
serious,
down.
Clark?
The scene where they basically dress the boss down for not giving out a bonus, and he's like, well, I cut the bonuses or whatever, and so apparently his wife, because they're working through it, and apparently his wife, the boss's wife, called the cops on him. They're like invading the house, and
he was kidnapped by a big, beastly, bulging man.
That's right.
With plates from Kansas and a blue leisure suit.
That's right. That's right. Because Eddie's wearing his leisure suit. That's exactly right. Yeah. And so anyway, so the police show up, and they're about to arrest Clark, and his boss Frank is like, no, don't arrest him. I was wrong. I cut the bonuses. And his wife's like, oh, Frank, you didn't. Just to save a buck. He's like, well.
And the cop goes, I had a rubber hose. I beat you with it. The cop.
Yes.
Did you ever notice where Ellen's hand is when they say freeze? And she, welcome to our home. And she shakes the wife's hand. It's on his nether regions.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So she's got her hand on his nether realm, and she stops holding it, reaches out her hand, shakes the boss's wife's hand, and then puts it back.
Yeah. Oh man. And so anyway, his boss's wife was like, "Why would you do that?" He's like, "I don't know. I was trying to save a buck." And so at the end, he's like, "Hey, Griswold, whatever I gave you for your bonus last year, add on 10%. And of course, then everyone's happy, right? And then, this is like the happy ending, right? Where everything's fine.
Yep.
They all go outside. And this is the big climax. Right? We just had the climax with the police showing up, but now we've got second climax where Uncle Lewis lights up a cigar, and there's all that sewage gas that everyone can smell. And of course, you can imagine when you mix fire with the sewage gas.
After they have the nice moment telling the kids, this is the real meaning of Christmas.
This is the real meaning of
Christmas. It's not gifts.
Christmas.
It's not presents. It's this, because they see the star, and he's like, that's not the North Star, Chris. That's the light on the sewage plant.
That's
and
right.
He throws the match.
And he says, sewage plant. No, wait. And then, so he doesn't blow up. But basically, there's a big explosion. And so at this point, there was a yard decoration at the Griswold's house with the Santa sleigh, right? That gets launched into the air doing a big spiral.
That shit's expensive now, too.
I know. That was the air blown. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Anyway, so you see this giant sleigh, like basically flying through the air, right? It's supposed to be Santa Claus flying through the air. And with that, the perfect ending to this movie, you've got Aunt Bethany going, and the rocket's red glare. And they just start singing the national anthem.
And the baseball organ's going.
And then,
that's great.
And you literally, everyone just starts singing the national anthem to end this Christmas movie. And then you got play ball. Oh my God,
she's great.
It's so
she's
perfect.
Great. Aunt Bethany is great.
Aunt Bethany's great. And so that's basically how the movie ends. Everyone's super happy. All right, cool. Let's go inside and finish Christmas, folks. And then you've got Clark sitting out there just looking at the sky and realizing that he truly had the fun, old-fashioned family Christmas that he always wanted.
With snot. Outside with him.
With snots outside with him. Exactly. Oh, what a movie.
That's such a great movie.
Oh, my God.
It really is. It's such a great... The older you get, the better it gets.
Yes.
This movie is... As you get older, this movie gets older.
And not only that, but every time you rewatch it, you're going to see something new. Like you've already pointed out...
Like the light bulb.
You pointed out so many things that I am so looking forward to watching and catching because I didn't remember them.
Yeah. And you did too. You said, don't say that word. He's shitting bricks, shitting rocks, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my God. So awesome. And again, apologies. We were kind of all over the place with this. We really didn't know how we wanted. We knew we wanted to talk about this movie. We knew it's one of our favorite Christmas movies ever. Like that's a gimme. But so we jumped around with some scenes. But again, just such a fun movie to talk about. There's so many little things that
because here's the thing: if you're listening to this, you've already watched the movie.
I would hope
we
so,
skip things. You went. These assholes skipped over the part where he's looking for the lingerie with the girl at Macy's or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they didn't. So we went back to it. But we.
Yep.
I think we got everything we needed to discuss in this.
I think so.
And this is the second to. I think they made 4, and this is the third out of the 4. The next one that comes after this is Vegas Vacation in '97.
Yes, which I was not a huge fan of, by the way.
I thought it was okay. I like the guy at the end that he dies and he drops the ticket at the end.
Yes,
and they pick it up.
Yes, no, I like that.
That's great. It's okay.
It's not as good.
I've never seen European Vacation.
That's amazing.
You have to see that one.
You have to see that.
Is it really?
That's just, in my opinion, it's on par with the original and with this one. Yes, 100%.
Really? Okay. I do own it. I got it at a garage sale for like $1.
Go watch it. It's so funny. Yes, it's hilarious. There's a scene, I won't give away too much, but there's a scene where because they basically win a European trip, right? It's the name of the movie. And so the first scene over in Europe, they're staying at a hotel in England, right? And he's like asking the guy, like, all right, well, I think you should have a reservation for Griswold. We were the game show winners, whatever. And so the guy's, he's like, oh, reservation, Mr. Griswold. Okay, we got room 35. And so he's like super British, right? All of a sudden, you see Clark take out his pocket translator, and he's trying to figure out what he's saying. And Rusty was like, he's speaking English, Dad. Oh, it's so good.
Is it the same kids or are they different?
Different kids, of course. That was what started it. Every movie is different kids.
It is different kids in everyone. Okay, because I know the 3 that I've seen, they're different kids.
Yep. No. So I
didn't know if the European Vacation kept any of them.
No. Yeah. No. Absolutely not. So anyway, check it out. It's really good. Well, listen. That's that's Christmas Vacation in a nutshell, guys. And what a movie. It's.
Great movie.
I think it would have been top 5 before we started talking, but now that we're going over it again, I mean, it's got to be top 3 for me. If not, maybe my number 1 now too.
For Christmas movies?
Or
movies. Just in general?
No, Christmas movies.
Okay.
I still say probably top 3.
Okay, for Christmas movies. What about overall in general? Would it crack like the top 15 all-time movies?
I would say probably, yeah. It's really good.
It is.
It just gets better.
And now it's being re-released in some theaters, and Chevy Chase is actually doing like Q&As after some of the
I didn't know
some
that.
of the screenings. Yeah,
he's
doing one I think in we have some friends in Pennsylvania, and they said in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, that he was doing there was like an outdoor screening, and he was going to do a Q&A afterwards.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think
it's everywhere though. I don't remember being this big. Like you go into any big box store.
Yeah.
Excuse me, or like Spencer, anywhere, Hallmark stores, Spencer's. There's National Lampoons, everything. There's Christmas ornaments. There's T-shirts. There's hats. There's mugs.
Yeah.
There's shot glasses. There's things from the movie. The little stupid moose glasses that I have. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I played a National Lampoons Christmas board game this weekend.
See? Yeah, exactly. have you seen
It's crazy.
They have like the ceramic village too. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yep, where you can get the
very
RV.
Expensive though.
Oh, it is. It's not cheap, obviously.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
That's one of those where if they made a Lego set of Christmas Vacation, I would buy that in a heartbeat. Like that's.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made a board game of this.
I know.
I mean,
There's a
are you
board
serious,
game.
Clark? Like,
you serious?
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
They should have made it a Wii game back in the day. You know?
Oh my God, yeah, or something. I mean, I don't know. It's and then of course, after this, you had sequels that were like spin-offs with just Cousin Eddie. It's like where his family, which I've never seen.
I heard about it.
Yeah,
neither have I. I heard it wasn't very good.
No, I mean I can't imagine, but that's okay. We still have this one. Oh, good stuff, man. Well, listen,
Yep.
I wanted to kick off the holiday season the right way, and I think we did it justice. What do you think?
I think so. I think we did a great job.
Yeah. So
Tough act to follow with this movie.
and we'll see.
I feel.
We'll see what next week brings us. But yeah, all right. Well, listen, Lou. If I don't, I'm not sure I will. But if I don't have you back on the show before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. And how many more times do you think you're going to watch this movie before the season's over?
Do you mean winter season or Christmas season?
Well, I don't know. Like, do you watch this movie after Christmas?
I'll probably watch it. I'll probably get a little burnt out around Christmas.
Okay.
So I'll probably realistically in December, I'll probably watch it once a week.
Okay. All right.
I'll probably watch it maybe 4 to 5 more times.
All right.
And then probably as I'm taking down the tree in like middle of January or so, end of January, depending on how I feel.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it or listen to it as I'm taking down the tree.
Gotcha.
And then I'll watch it one random time in the summer, just because.
Just because. Christmas in July, right?
Why not?
There you go. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us then. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one. This was so much fun. If there are other Christmas movies you want us to talk about from your childhood, let us know, by the way. Make sure you're reaching out to us on Facebook or on Instagram at Generation S Podcast or on YouTube, for that matter. Reach out to us, comment on one of our videos or just, like I said, shoot us a message on Instagram, on Facebook. However you want to follow us, please reach out. We'd love to connect with you guys. And, thank you so much, and happy holidays, right? I know this is coming out in November, but it's really kind of kicking off the holiday season for us here on the podcast, and so hopefully your holidays are filled with merriment and joy and all that fun, happy hoarseness. Hey,
what?
I don't know. Hey, by the way,
how about can I quote a very famous angry nerd?
Yes.
Merry Christmas, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. And if you don't celebrate Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. And if you don't like the holidays, go screw yourself.
There you go. Perfect.
There
But
it
in
is.
a nice way. And by the way, guys, I say this every time, but it really does help. Please, if you can, leave a review. Like this is the season of giving, right? If you can, give us your time to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. If you're able to leave some kind of review or feedback, please do, because that helps us get the word out there. And then please let others know about the podcast, right? If you know of other people that want to hear stuff like this, where we're just talking about the 90s or whatever. I mean, Lou mentioned it. We did a Simpsons episode a couple episodes back. We've talked about the PlayStation. My wife and I just did an X-Files 2-part episode. So it's anything and everything from our childhood. And if you want to experience it with us, let a friend know. And, hopefully they enjoy it as well, So, all right. That's a long enough outro that one day, I swear to God, I'm going to script and get it right the first time. And today's not that day. But that's it, guys. Lou, thank you so much for coming on the show. As always, you are a true Hall of Famer of this podcast and a good friend. And thank you so much for coming on.
I want that card in my stocking this year.
The membership
My Hall
card?
of Fame card.
Your Hall of Fame card?
My Hall of Fame card.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will see what I can do. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, I'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.